It's predictions time once again for AEW All Out Toronto, taking place this Saturday, September the 20th. And what a match card we'll be going through today. Starting with the buy-in match, we've got an 8-woman Tornado Tailgate Brawl that's going to be taking place. Moving on to the main show, we've got the AEW World Championship, Hangman Adam Page going against Fletcher. We've got Adam Copeland and Christian Cage going against FTR. For the TBS Championship, we've got Mercedes Moné versus Riho. We've got a trios match with the Hart Syndicate going against Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. Eddie Kingston is back. He'll be taking on Big Bill. We've got a 4-way for the AEW Tag Team Championships taking place in a ladder match. We've also got Kazuchika Okada defending his Unified Championship in a 3-way. Hello. We've got Tables and Tacks with Mark Briscoe and MJF. We've got a 4-way for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Tony Storm taking on Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. And last but not least, our main event of the stream today is the Coffin match with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. Welcome to the video, everyone, and thank you to NXT for joining me for this one. Looking forward to diving into some AEW conversation. But first off, what are your excitement levels for AEW All Out Toronto?
I mean, to be fair, the card is stacked, and I think the potential going forward as well makes this a really interesting show to watch, just because of obviously Hangman's build with his championship, how MJF's doing. Some of these matches have had a really good build, like the Copeland Cage versus FTR match. So there's a lot riding on this card, and I think it kind of sets them up towards the end of the year and how they're going to finish.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. I feel like that this show, no Ospreay, no Swerve, no problem. They've managed to put people in positions that's, putting people further up the card in higher prominent ways. Mark Briscoe, Fletcher with a lot to gain on this show, being in high profile matches. And I just think it just looks like a fun ride, this one. Obviously, was at one point going head to head with WWE's WrestlePalooza, but the time has changed for this. The start time now, I believe, it's 3 p.m. in the afternoon for Eastern time in the States. I believe that means it's 8 p.m. at local time in the United Kingdom, 9 p.m. European. So, it's an accessible time for everybody as well. They worked really well for All In, so let's see if it'll work really well for All Out. But for me, looking at that card, and despite the fact as well, should comment right now, this has been pre-recorded before AEW Dynamite, so there are still some gaps to fill in, and we're going to predict those throughout the stream as well. But yeah, I'm going for an 8 out of 10. I think this one looks like a really solid card.
Yeah, again, I would agree with that. And there is some matches on this card that, although may not be as high in terms of build or anticipation, I think have got some potential to be some absolute killers.
I think so as well. Which match are you most looking forward to?
I mean, look, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage in their hometown should be fantastic, but I'm not against Kazuchika Okada, Takeshita, and the mystery opponent, because I think those two being I think Takeshita is just like one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's up there as well. You put him in there with Okada, you put him in there with a third man. I think that is a low-key kind of match that could possibly steal the night.
Absolutely. I think I'm really excited for the prospect of that match as well. Look, Tables and Tacks seems like a really interesting stipulation for Briscoe and MJF. Probably one of my favorite storylines going in. Yes, okay, I've got to say I'm into the idea of Adam Copeland, Christian Cage against FTR, but I'm actually going to go for Adam Page versus Fletcher. I think that Fletcher has had an unbelievable 12 months in AEW, doing very good for the Don Callis family. A real potential breakout spot for him on this show, and Hangman Adam Page, let's be honest, he's my champion. So yeah, I'm going to go for that one as the match I'm most looking forward to. But let's dive straight in, shall we? And I'd like to say, buy-in, pre-show, countdown, whatever AEW seems to call it these days. We've got ourselves an 8-woman Saturday Tailgate Brawl. So what could be the estimate of a Tailgate Brawl, NXT?
I mean, if it's anything like what they normally do before Super Bowl game or NFL games, I imagine it almost feels like this should be a parking lot brawl, but I think this is going to be a case of, look, there's going to be like unique toys, like catering, like food, like beer, like hot dogs, all the kind of crazy stuff. And look, you can even see it there in the graphic there. There is there's a baseball bat wrapped, well, there's something wrapped in barbed wire. There is a fork of some kind that's used in cooking. So I don't know. I think this is an opportunity for the women to just be really creative with something that, I don't know, it's not a normal match stipulation. Like, it should be one or the other, but it just seems to almost be a hybrid of a few different matches.
I like the idea of it, especially with that, like you say, you could almost have like a parking lot aspect of it. And like you say, the fact that we could be Americanized here with our hot dogs and, do you know what I mean? Like with the beer being thrown away. It just screams fun to me. Obviously, we've got Harley Cameron, we've got Mina Shirakawa, Queen Aminata, Willow Nightingale, against Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford, Julie Hart, Skye Blue. And I mean, a number of these women are not no strangers, shall we say, to some of these sort of hardcore style stipulations. So I expect this one is going to be a wild hot start to AEW All Out. And usually we don't dive so much into these pre-show matches much these days, but for me, I felt this one deserved the shout because it seems creative, original, and I just, like I said, I think it's going to be a wild time. Do you ever dare to give a prediction how this one might play out?
I mean, look, it's going to go either way. I think it's just a case of is a match that's supposed to warm the crowd up, be a great opener. I'm going to go with Harley Cameron's team just because there is a champion on that side of the 8 women, and yeah, it's got Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale in it, and they're kind of like the biggest stars probably in at the 8 women. So I'm going to say that side.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I think it sets the tempo well for the show. Like you say, Mina Shirakawa right now, currently Ring of Honor Women's, I believe, TV champion at this particular time. Willow Nightingale, no stranger for winning these sort of high-profile, sort of hardcore stipulation matches. Queen Aminata's on the rise. Harley Cameron is just one of my favourites, so biased in general. Can see Penelope before taking that pinfall.
It could be anyone, to be fair. I mean, yeah, there is some in there that probably shouldn't take that pinfall, but look, I just think it's an opportunity for the women to almost, like I said, just set the bar for the rest of the show, really have some fun with it, and just generally be a great opening match.
Completely agree with you, and should be a fun, wild ride. Let's go into the main show then, shall we? I'm going to dive in then straight with the AEW World Championship. We've got Hangman Adam Page going against Kyle Fletcher, who currently is TNT champion in All Elite Wrestling. Hangman Page, I mean, he seems to have issues with the Don Callis family. Don Callis has said, basically, one of my guys is going to take it. He's got so many members in this family these days. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and it's not a matter of, it's basically a matter of who. Who is going to do it? Well, the first one to the plate is Kyle Fletcher, current TNT champion. Does it kind of harm the TNT championship that Kyle Fletcher is in this position?
Not really. I think if there's one person the TNT champion can lose to, it is the AEW champion. Spoiler alert. That's my prediction. I'm going with Adam Page. The bigger story is obviously him versus MJF. I think this is just a way of getting Adam Page on the card and in a decent spot, and also it gives some rub to Kyle Fletcher and the Don Callis family.
Yeah, completely agree with you, because it feels like the MJF stuff isn't fully closed at the door right now. Even though fantastic match of Forbidden Door, obviously MJF still has that contract. It will be cashed in at some point, and it feels like Page will be the guy that will cash it in on. So it matters, no matter who from the Don Callis family goes against Hangman Adam Page, it feels like Page would retain at this point. And he's still quite early into his title run at this particular moment, so I can't see him losing. But potentially this could be a real breakout moment for Kyle Fletcher. Unbelievable 12 months, obviously breaking away from the shadow of Will Ospreay, having an incredible feud. The steel cage match these two had earlier in the year as well was unbelievable. To now be one of the main people in Don Callis' family, obviously one of the high profile names for the Grand Slam Australia tour, and now TNT champion, now going for a world championship. Is Kyle Fletcher going to be potentially the best wrestler in the world in about 5 years from now? Is he going to be in that conversation if he's not already starting creeping that the potential is there?
Yeah, definitely. It's just a case of if Will Ospreay retires or not, I think, is the only thing that's stopping that from probably ever happening.
We'll have to wait and see how it go down. I think Kyle Fletcher is going to have an unbelievable effort. Will not be his last world title opportunity, but he's not going to win his first. Hangman Adam Page for the victory. We move on in the meantime then, and we're going to be talking then probably one of the most high-profile matches also of this show, so the fact it's in Toronto's own. We've got Adam Copeland and Christian Cage going against FTR with Stokely Hathaway. He can't get hosed, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a fun ride here. I mean, obviously, long and the short of it, Adam Copeland was turned on by FTR turning heel on the process. We've had Adam Copeland and Christian Cage reunite. They dealt with Kip Sabian and Killswitch at Forbidden Door, so they dealt with Christian Cage's problem for the time being, although Nick Wayne still needs to be revisited. However, now it's time to deal with Adam Copeland's problem, and of course there was a restraining order for a period of time, but that seems to have been wavered now that we've had the Adam Copeland Stokely Hathaway match, of course, a few weeks ago on AEW Dynamite. But leading to this one, feels very personal. This one should be a really fun ride, and yeah, it's in Toronto. What more do I need to say for you, Yannick, Steve?
Yeah, it kind of states the obvious just by the geographical location, really. But I will say one thing. It's a shame that there isn't titles involved, because I think if you wanted to make this an even bigger spectacle, you'd have had them AEW's Tag Team Championships on the line. But again, it's something they could probably revisit at a later date by doing a rematch with these two teams. Yeah, I'm going with Copeland and Christian, the hometown heroes. AEW are the complete opposite to WWE, and they do love a hometown hero to get a win.
Absolutely. And the thing is, the one thing that makes me wonder, should this go on further, Wrestle Dream is the show following this, and it won't be the last time I mention that word Wrestle Dream during this stream. But if they were to redo this match, perhaps maybe a stipulation could be added to the next show. Could that be a possibility and a reason just to give edge to the heel heat to FTR on this occasion, on this night?
Possibly, but then again, you could easily delay this and wait till there's titles involved, because you've still got to get those titles off of the current champions onto either one of these teams before that's a possibility. But absolutely. I mean, if they wanted to, they could tie the score up, give FTR a win back, and then at some point down the line, when one of them is tag team champions, you do the rubber match for the titles.
We've had it before with FTR and the Young Bucks. Maybe they could just do this here with Copeland and Cage against FTR. But I'm going to go with you. Hometown, it is Copeland and Cage all the way for the victory here. And I wonder if we may just get a fallout of maybe FTR, maybe Killswitch, Sabian, Nick Wayne, or just having something a little bit in common just to carry this feud on a little bit further, maybe going into Wrestle Dream. Maybe Copeland and Cage need some more friends, or maybe we might find ourselves with a three-way tag team match going into that show.
Possibly.
Wait and see how it will play out. We'll move on in the meantime then to the TBS Championship. Mercedes Moné taking on Riho. Riho basically just returned. That's kind of enough really to get her this match, it seems, with Mercedes. She won the number one contenders match, of course, as well afterwards. But I'm not going to lie to you, NXT. This match should be really good on paper, should be really good in ring. But there's not really been much of a sufficient enough build for me for this one. And Mercedes is dancing around with 9 championships right now. She wants to break Ultimo Dragon's record of 10. This feels like, unfortunately, the word filler to me.
It does. But then also, because it's AEW, I feel if someone is going to lose the title somewhere with a shock finish, it could be this one. But I genuinely don't. Like, I'm going like 97% Moné, like 3% Riho want to retire for the win here.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's Moné all the way for me. I'm going to go 99.9% certain on this one. And unfortunately, that's where we wrap this match up, because there's just not much more to add to it, unfortunately. But we will move on in the meantime then to the trios match. We've got the Hurt Syndicate taking on Ricochet and Gates of Agony. A bit more going into this one, really. Of course, Ricochet and the Gates of Agony costing the Hurt Syndicate those tag team championships recently. And if you want to go really far back, of course, Ricochet was almost a member of the Hurt Syndicate way back when, before pretty much MVP ripped up the business card. So that didn't happen in the end. But revenge is coming. This is, dare I say, a long-term story in AEW. How do you feel about this one with this trios match with the Hurt Syndicate versus Ricochet and the Gates of Agony?
Probably the hardest one to pick on the card. It could go either way. It's just a case of what the long-term plan is. I mean, I think I'm going to go with Ricochet and the GOA, just because it feels like the Hurt Syndicate need to take a couple of losses. Like, they've lost the titles. I think they need another few losses before they almost start a rebuild or a build towards something new. So yeah, I'd go with Ricochet and the GOA.
For me, that's a surprising pick. But I like that you've gone that way, because I'm going to say this. They need this win more. Ricochet, Gates of Agony need this. And there is someone perfectly there that can take that pinfall. It's MVP. He's very much on the latter stage of his career. I think dare I say, a younger fan base probably don't even know this guy's a wrestler. They're seeing with a cane and a big mouth, and that's probably about it. But MVP, he still can go, and he still be a part of this match. It's going to be fun to see. I have to ask an alternative question before I give my prediction. Is Bobby Lashley and Shelton to a degree, have they been wasted so far in AEW? They've been through the tag team division. Now it's a trios thing. When are these guys going to go and try and break out and try and win some of the top singles championships in AEW? Because now feels like the right time with no Swerve, no Ospreay. You'd think these guys now would look and say this is a moment where we can propel them, despite the fact they're ex-WWE guys.
I think with anything with Ricochet, with the Hurt Syndicate, again, like I said a minute ago, I think they need to take a couple of losses. I'm almost waiting for a tournament like the Owen Hart Cup or the Owen Hart tournament, or that's, I think, the opportunity to then build Bobby Lashley towards single stardom. You give him that moniker and he has to carry that title around for a year. Even if you don't put a championship on him, the fact that he is the Owen Hart champion and he carries that belt for a year kind of is a big deal. And it's almost like a cheat code, really, so you don't have to put a title on him, but you get the opportunity to build Bobby as a single star. Shelton will slip into anywhere. Shelton is essentially, he's your original Dolph Ziggler. He's a guy that goes in and has good matches with anyone. So you could throw him into a TNT match. You can throw him into a whatever the Intercontinental or their international championships called now, because they love to rename the thing so often. Like, yeah, Shelton Benjamin will be fine. I don't think they've wasted him. I think it's been a steady pace for these guys, but I think you need to kind of really break down the tag team aspect, give them some losses, and then start the rebuild as single stars.
I think it's an interesting point of view, and to be fair, like, I do feel that they should have been positioned higher up in the card. I just feel like they're a lot of time the second, the third matches, they feel a bit undercard and almost the filler points of these big pay-per-views that we get, because they're quite long AEW pay-per-views. I feel for Lashley, he should be doing more. But like you say, they are still a big part of AEW. They hurt people, and they've got a very good record at this point. A loss wouldn't hurt them at this stage. Like I said, if MVP's want to take the fall, that would be great for Ricochet at this moment, because I feel like he really needs a big win on one of these sort of shows at the moment. But I'm still going to go with the Hurt Syndicate to pick up the victory here, and I think they are going to start branching out for singles championships sooner rather than later. But final question. What happened to the Trios Championships? I've not seen them for a while. Am I missing something? I know I've not been completely in the scene of AEW in 2025, but I feel like we've not seen them mentioned for quite a while.
Who are the Trios Champions?
Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata. That's who it is.
Oh, well, yeah. They're probably wasted away on Ring of Honor somewhere.
Maybe. They get occasional shouts on AEW TV, but still, yeah, maybe that could be the next direction for the winner of this match. But we'll go in the meantime, and we're going to be talking about Eddie Kingston. Great to see him back in an AEW ring. He's been out from injury for so long. Taking on Big Bill, who's been, well, he's been kind of MIA as well. He's been missing in action, but good to see both of them really back on a pay-per-view as well. It's been quite a long time. But with Eddie Kingston just returning, I'm going to be very quick with this one. I think Eddie Kingston's winning.
Yeah, it happens the same, dude. It's a very easy answer. Big Bill is the kind of guy that can take losses, and it really doesn't affect him. Like, especially to someone of Eddie Kingston's stature, like he's a big fan favorite. It'd just be good to have Eddie Kingston back, and it'd be nice to see him. And like, do you remember when Moxley returned in WWE after being out for so long and he came back jacked? If we got a jacked Eddie Kingston, I'd be well gassed.
Absolutely, yeah, it would be quite cool to see. I must admit, this has been booked on Collision last week, and not a Collision viewer, just not time in the schedule, unfortunately, for Collision. But buzzing to see what these two bring to the table. It's a low-key match I'm looking forward to, despite the fact it's an undercard match. It's
been more social media booked than it has TV booked, to be fair. I think Bill's had a promo where he's actually put out the challenge, but I think Kingston's start side of it has all been across like X.
There you are. Okay, interesting. I'm excited to see what they bring to the table then. But both of us going for Eddie Kingston to pick up that dub. Bring it on. Next, we're going to talk about the AEW World Tag Team Championships going to be taking part in a Fatal 4-Way ladder match. That's going to whet the appetite, isn't it? So, as you can see on the screen right now at the time of recording, there's only one team featured in this, and that's, well, good to know. It's your Tag Team Champions. It is Bro Dido, of course, Bandito and Brody King. So we're going to predict who's going to be joining them in the match, and then we're going to predict who the winner's going to be. So this one might be quite short and sweet. So first off, NX Steve, who is going to be joining them for this qualifying match here on September to remember? Kip Sabian and Kill Switch, or Jet Speed, in your opinion?
I mean, it probably should be Jet Speed, but I'm going to go with Kip Sabian and Kill Switch just because they are part of that Don Callis family and they kind of had those devious ways of winning and getting into matches. Plus, you kind of want those two on the card if you're going to do the whole FTR, Copeland, and Cage match.
Interesting. I'm going for Jet Speed. I think they just add a bit of the high-flying dynamic that you'll get in this ladder match to add that excitement and buzz. So for me, I think that we need that sort of style in this match. Speaking of which, Don Callis family, Hericchio, hope I'm saying that correctly, probably butchered that, Josh Alexander, taking on Top Flight. I think that I can see the Don Callis family here having a duo here.
I'm going to go with Top Flight because I think for me, they should be the ones that are in there for the high-flying spots. So I'm going to go the complete counter opposite to you.
I like it. We're not on the same page. Just makes it exciting. But this one just might be kind of obvious. We've got the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn going against the Young Bucks. I can't see a pay-per-view without the Bucks here.
I know, but I suppose it is the Bang Bang Gang. It's not even like it's the brothers, is it? Yeah, I'd have to go with the Bucks as well then.
I think it looks like it could be. So, all in all, we've gone then to the 4 teams there. So maybe we should just go through that one more time for everyone. So our tag team champions who will be in there. I've gone with Jet Speed. You've gone with Kip Sabian and Kill Switch. I've gone with Hericchio and Josh Alexander. You've gone with Top Flight, and we've both gone with the Young Bucks. So ultimately, who is walking away with those AEW World Tag Team Championships? It's time to put you on the spots.
It's retained for Brodito, isn't it? Really, the guy they've just won them. It's very easy. The ladder match obviously gives it the possibility that someone could make a surprise win, but yeah, I'm going with Brodito, man. They've just won them and they're on a high at the minute. I'm just glad that Bandito in general is getting elevated so much because for me, he's one of the guys that came in with so much hype. Has kind of not really done anything, and this is kind of more of his breakout now. Like, he's getting a run with the tag team titles. He's been in ROH for the longest time. He's started to move more into the AEW side, and I'm gassed for that because he is a fantastic wrestler.
Absolutely. I'm going to go for Brodito as well. They're not to waste everyone's couple of minutes, go through all the qualified matches who will be in here. But I want Jet Speed to walk away as tag team champions. I just really like the dynamic of Bailey and Knight together. But like you said, Brodito just won these titles. It feels like it would be wrong for them just to lose them at this early stage. But I'm interested to see the dynamic if the Bucks do make this match, what they'll do, what their crazy little gimmick has been. Have you enjoyed the mockery since the Young Bucks have lost their EVP status?
Do you know what? I don't mind it because look, if they're kind of like Kevin Owens for me, like these guys can laugh at themselves and they can make jokes of themselves, and it just makes them more entertaining in general. So yeah, I'm 100% for it. I love it. I think that they are one of the most entertaining teams on the roster. So yeah, the fact that again they can laugh at themselves and be entertaining at the same time and be good wrestlers is just a win for me.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same as well. It just adds a breath of fresh air to the characters of them right now, and the EVP status had run its course, so I'm pleased to see they're trying to do something else. But yeah, we're going for Brodito to retain the championships. Now, the match graphics going to look a bit funny here. We can move to the side if you want. We have got the AEW Unified Championship Freeway, Kazuchika Okada. We've got Takeshita. Both have won qualifying matches to get to this position. The third person who will be in this match, let's predict that now. We've got the Beast Mortos, or we've got Mascara Dorada. I'm going for Beast Mortos.
I'm going to go Mascara Dorada because I think that he will add a high-flying element to it that will, I think, will work better with Takeshita and Okada. Interesting
to see that indeed. But whoever wins this match is taking the pinfall, in my opinion. I'm going to keep this short again. I think Okada retains here, and I think that this is just to delay Okada versus Takeshita singles match, Unified Championship. That word's coming in. Wrestle Dream.
100%. The one-on-one match is the one you're waiting for. Although this will almost be an appetizer for that, but with a third person in, everyone's waiting for a card of Takeshita. It's good. That will be phenomenal.
You're teasing us, Tony. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, and it's working.
Naughty.
Absolutely. Speaking of naughty, this stipulation looks like it could be tables and tacks. Mark Briscoe versus MJF. This seems like a creative way here for this feud. Obviously, MJF has been pretty much he's been calling out and saying nasty things about his late brother, of course, Jay Briscoe. We've had matches between these two in the past that carried through All In for the Casino Gauntlet, which of course MJF won that contract for a championship match. Briscoe here got the opportunity to choose the stipulation on Collision, went with tables and tacks, and they pretty much said that they want to kill each other, really. And MJF has even said he's willing to walk out the door away from his wife on his honeymoon just to take the stipulation, because he would say the words, I do. Do you want to see this match?
This is it's going to be one of these matches that makes me feel uncomfortable from the first minute till the last. Look, this will be great. It'll be entertaining. It'll be gory. It's one of those matches that will appease to a certain particular fan, some old school retro heads that love the old ECW stuff. I can't see this going any other way than an MJF win, though. The guy is on a high. He's on a build towards the AEW championship. Unfortunately for Briscoe, it's going to be a loss. Someone's going to go through a table that's got thumbtacks glued to the top of it, and there's probably going to be I'm going to guess there's going to be like a construction. There's going to be like a pyramid of tables that are just covered in thumbtacks, and someone's going through it all, and it's probably going to be Briscoe.
Interesting. Now, this for me is the hardest match to call, because like we said earlier in the show, Kyle Fletcher going against Hangman Adam Page, that potential breakout moment, the potentialness of making a star overnight and coming out. Fletcher has to do this in defeat. The difference here in this match is that regardless if MJF wins or loses, he's still got a contract for an AEW World Championship match. He doesn't necessarily need to carry the momentum. And there gets to a point where I believe MJF needs to eat his words. And when he does on these shows, it usually doesn't affect him. He can lose and he comes back more bad-mouthed and more vile than ever, usually when it comes to the next Dynamite and the next rivalry he goes for. So for that reason, I'm going to go on what I think might be a surprise here. I'm going to say Mark Briscoe's going to win this.
I can understand where you're coming from. I'm going back to the AEW Championship, and I'm sitting there and think, if you put MJF in this match and he goes through it with someone like Briscoe and wins, his grit and determination almost puts him on another level. So then when he does face Page for the second time for that championship, there isn't a lot that MJF will do to win, because he's been through things like a tables and tacks match.
Yeah, I get your point of view. Totally see it from your side there.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, though, and this could be a wild one, because I think could be more Don Callis members going for the AEW World Championship after Kyle Fletcher. I'm guessing Takeshita could be the main one towards the end of the year, maybe World's End. Hopefully. I'm not sure that MJF is actually going to be immediately going for that world title after this, despite the fact that I think it's a long-term play. It doesn't have to be immediate. So I'm going to stick my neck out and say there could be a chance we could get Hangman versus Briscoe at Wrestle Dream, because could it be just seen as a Wrestle Dream, the idea of a Briscoe winning the AEW World Championship?
Yeah, do you know what? That's actually more of a fair and logical point. So you have a good shout. I'm just going to go with like the guy that's on a high at the minute.
I think it's nice to see that we're on different sides of the fence. We'll see which one it lands on when it comes to All Out. We've got 2 more matches. Just before we get there, we should say hit that like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, all that good stuff if you're enjoying this video. And we're going to dive in now to the AEW Women's World Championship. We've got a 4-way, Timeless Tony Storm defending against Jamie Hayter, Chris Statlander, and Tekla. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I've probably butchered that one all the way through the stream as well. But yeah, 4 ladies. We've got ourselves here a 4-way. Should be a good one for the championship. Mainly been on Collision, a lot of this. How do you sort of see it playing out? Because it's interesting to see Tony Storm defending in a 4-way. Is it a throwaway, or is this a shock way of making a new champion?
I'm gonna put my neck on the line and go with a shock way of making a new champion, and I'm gonna say Statlander. I think the fact that she's been siding with the Death Riders lately, and she seems to be just in general being booked better than she has done in a long while. I think. Do you know what? I'm just going for the wild card pick. I'm going to say Statlander wins this. I know Toni Storm probably will retain because she's been on such a, what is it? It's been like 8-9 months. I think she's been champion now, something like stupid like that. That I wouldn't be surprised if this does change hands. But yeah, most people are probably going to say Jamie Hayter. Do you know what? I'm going to go out there and say Chris Statlander.
So my vibe on this one is I'm going to go with the predictable. I'm going with Thomas Toni Storm to retain. But I do think this would be a good way. Like you said, we've not really got so many title changes on this show. This would be a good place to have one. And this is a good way to do it because Toni Storm hasn't got to take the pinfall to lose the championship. I have felt from what I have seen, and this is from what I have seen, I felt like that Storm and Tekla is what could be the rivalry coming the other side of this, perhaps going into Wrestle Dream as an alternative match, as a singles match. But I would like it to be Storm and Hayter for obvious reasons. They've got a lot of history together, and we've never really captured that magic when Jamie Hayter's returned. It's kind of like it's just been a forgotten storyline and ignored. But I'm going to say Storm wins on this one, and I think that we can build to either Hayter or Tekla for Wrestle Dream.
Yep, again, logical booking. I'm just essentially I'm fantasy booking here. I just want Statler to win a championship. I think it's something she's deserved. She's been there so long and she's not really achieved a lot, and I would like a shock win.
Absolutely. In the words of Dave Bautista for NXT, give me what I want. We move on into what will be our main event of the stream. It will be a Coffin match. Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin. This one feels like it's been going for like a year, with Jon Moxley, of course, having the AEW World Championship kidnapped for such the longest time. It felt like Darby was going to be the guy for one point. They've had a couple of matches, but then Darby went away, climbed Mount Everest, came back, and has been in the thorn of the side of the Death Riders ever since. And of course, Moxley now doesn't have that World Championship anymore. These two have just taken it to another level with a personal feud recently. And of course, Darby Allin has been taking out Gabe Kidd in recent episodes of Dynamite as well, an honorary member of the Death Riders. Moxley and Darby Allin, no strangers to one another throughout AEW history as well. Moxley's usually had a good record when it comes to him versus Darby Allin. This is a coffee match though, which tends to be Darby's game. We did the research on this one though before we came on here today, and of course that is he's only lost one of these coffee matches, Darby Allin. That was against Jack Perry at All In 2024. So it's kind of that age-old question. Is Moxley going to continue to have one up on Darby Allin, or does Jon Moxley fall because it's Darby Allin's kind of match?
Again, that could go either way. I'm probably going to say Moxley. I don't know. Like, it's for me, this is probably the hardest one because there's story elements that can make you swing either way. There are outside elements like the fact that you have the Death Riders that could be a part of this. I don't particularly know off the top of my head anyone who's got Darby Allin's back, so the numbers game could be a factor. So I'm gonna go with Moxley just because I can, I suppose. Like, you're right, it is Darby's match and he probably should win it for that reason alone, but I'm gonna just still go with Jon Moxley.
Like you say, the numbers could be a big factor in this match because, I mean, Marina Shafir is always with Moxley at ringside, but we've got Claudio, we've got Gabe Kidd, we've got Wheeler Yuta. Like, there's so many factors here that could be a problem for Darby Allin in this match. And like you say, unless he has that sufficient backup, it's hard to go against Moxley. But there is, again, that opportunity to make that breakout star. And Darby Allin's always been on the cusp of being the star of AEW. But Moxley's had a couple of big losses recently. He's lost the AEW World title to Hangman Adam Page. He lost the rematch as well. I feel like he just needs a bit of his edge back, and he might need a win here on this show. Yeah,
again, a very good shout. But then the other thing as well, I suppose I'm looking at is that we've just sat there and talked for the last 30 odd minutes about where we think the AEW World Championship is going. If Darby wins and is supposed to be moving up the card, where does he fit in terms of story dynamic, I suppose, against Man Page, whatever? I think, again, that's probably something where you're waiting for an MJF to take that title before Darby goes into the main event scene. So I think Darby losing is probably the right way to book it.
Probably is indeed, yeah. The Moxley team actually also lost in the the lights out steel cage match that we had in London for Forbidden Door just recently as well. So it's another big loss he's had. So I feel like he needs it. But last question I'll ask, and it's kind of a little bit off the topic here, really. But Blood and Guts, we've not really had the AEW style War Games match this year. Did the lights out steel cage match take that away from us, or do you reckon we still might get it, where perhaps maybe Darby could find some friends, and that's when we could get the match take place at a later time?
Yeah, possibly, but I think it's too soon after doing the lights out steel cage match that you'd be looking to do it. So I think it's something that gets a slow burn or a slow build. And again, you've got to start with a Moxley win, though. Give Darby the chance to fight back, find some people on his side, like a Copeland and a Christian Cage. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? He's got to find some friends, but you're probably looking end of the year. I would have guessed maybe at the earliest for that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be like a World's End kind of vibe. That could be a good way to finish this off once and for all. It feels like it's still not quite done yet. So maybe like a return in Orange Cassidy. I don't know how far he is from return, but he was someone that was along Darby Allin's side at the early part of this. So yeah, could be interesting. We'll have to wait and see. But we are going for Jon Moxley. So that's our predictions there for AEW All Out Toronto. Thank you for watching, and now it's your turn. Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think will be winning and walking away with that dub this weekend in Toronto? I'd like to hear your thoughts, your predictions, your wild, bold picks as well, something that we've perhaps not discussed on the video here today, and we'll be commenting and replying to each and every one of you. But if you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share with friends, subscribe as well. And Steve, any final thoughts before we wrap things up today?
Just look forward to this one. Just in general, this looks like it's going to be a really entertaining show across the board. So I think that's just a plus where, like, I'm not expecting too much aside from just a good wrestling show, and I think that's why I'm probably going to enjoy it a lot more. I
think so as well. I'm here for that wrestling. I want to be one of the sickos this weekend. So yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a good time. Hit the like button, as I say once again. Subscribe if you're new here, and we'll see you for the next one. And if you want more AEW content dropping on this channel, then let us know now in the comments below.